Hello everyone and welcome to another training video in the AW109SP. So today what we are going to do is I will explain how to do a transition up, which you can describe as an auto takeoff, and also how to set up the FMS for VFR approach. In the previous video we did an IFR approach, an ILS approach to runway 07 at Lanzaria. Here I'm going to show you how to set up a VFR approach. So let's get the helicopter started. I'm going to do simplified startup. If you want to see the full startup procedure in the playlist, we already have previous flights where we did both a full start using the normal procedure and a full start using the quick start procedure. Okay, so I will open the door. This is how the helicopter will be actually when I leave the helicopter, so that's why I set it like this. So we go remove. We'll remove all the plug cover and even the wheel chokes actually. It is done. I'm gonna put my headset so that I can hear the warnings. Okay, so not going to use a GPU.
Warning.
This guy.
Autopilot, autopilot.
Just gonna silence her.
Warning.
Okay. Okay, everything good. So let's just check how much 25.4. Okay. Rotors. Okay, anti-collision light. There we go, ready for engine start.
Warning.
Okay.
Warning. Warning. Warning.
Okay, now both engines are started. I'm just gonna switch these guys on. Oops. Put this to ground and we can proceed. There we go. So first, let me explain how to create a flight plan with the VFR approach. Now, creating the flight plan itself, I've already explained how to do it. So here we are just going to select the flight plan. Okay, select, create, edit. Already covered this in the previous video. There we go. It's going to be from Lanzaria to Vanderboom, or any airport actually you want to use here. And it has selected it. Okay, now we go to active. We select the arrival airport at AWB in this case, and we press the knob here. We press it, and we have different options here. If it is an airport, you have additional options like IFR, VFR, approach. So we are going to do a VFR approach this time, and what it's going to do, hopefully it will show here on the map that it will be small enough. So I select VFR approach and press. Now there are two runways actually at Rendezvous. Of course, each runway, like here, just say this is a runway. You can land here or you can land here. Okay, so you have to know which runway you're going to be landing at. So in this case here, it's going to be runway 11. Anyway, you choose the runway, and what will happen is, as you can see, it created from the runway, it extends it and places a waypoint there, so that when we will be flying, if we have other waypoints, of course it will follow the other waypoints and then fly to this waypoint and towards the runway. Okay, so that you are aligned with the runway. That's what the VFR approach does. Okay, so as you can see, this leg here is already the active one. So this part of the tutorial is already done. How to create a flight plan we already did. Now how to activate a VFR approach at our destination. So now I'm gonna explain how the vertical, the transition up works. So for this, let's bring it like here so that you can see both PFD and MD. Here what you're going to do is come to menu, page, and then here down here there is hover. So you're gonna select hover. There you go. You will have a blue bug here. Okay, this blue bug is how to say this. Let me explain the decision height first. So what you're going to do is using this those arrows here until you find its decision height. Okay, the decision height is when we will be in a hover, the helicopter will just lift off until a certain altitude, and that altitude is determined by the decision height. So if we want the helicopter to lift off to let's say 100, just you know, for the sake of this example, here as you can see, decision height 100. So when we will activate hover mode, the helicopter will just lift off until it reaches 100 feet AGL. And then this blue bird is actually when the helicopter will do the auto takeoff or the transition up. It will fly up to the height that you determine here. So this one is done using the Alt knob here. You can see here it's indicating 5 to 4. Let's put it to, actually it can be anything you want. Just for the sake of this example, we will put it to 300. At least the preparation for the transition up is done. When we activate hover mode, okay, we will just be hovering. So how to do this? The simplest way to do this is to allocate a button, okay, so that when you press it, actually it's pressing this guy here, the trim, pressing it will activate hover mode as long as you are at or above 15 feet AGL. So already allocate a button to activate hover mode, and then the transition up itself is done by pressing this button, GA. Once again, since it's on the collective, you can allocate a button for this, so that when you will be hovering, you don't have to look down and press it with the mouse. So once again, I repeat, I allocate a button for the auto hover, ideally on your joystick because it's located on the cyclic, and then a button for the go around. And what will happen then? When you activate the takeoff go around, it will capture the heading you were already at. Okay, and then it will display to you transition up, and then as already explained, it will lift off until the height you put here. Okay, and once it reaches this height, it will kind of take off, gradually increasing your altitude and airspeed. And of course, at this point, once you reach 200 feet AGL, you retract the gear, and once it reaches the height you inserted here, okay, it will maintain the heading, okay, it will maintain the altitude, and it will maintain 70 knots indicated airspeed. And from there, you can then switch to nav mode if you have a flight plan. You can then increase your altitude to your cruising altitude. It's like we've done in previous videos. So if you did not really understand how it works, so just watch this part a few times, because once you do it, it's gonna be much easier. Okay, so now let's get ready for the startup, continue the startup procedure, and then do the transition up. So actually I should have started this when I started the engine, but anyway, so let's proceed. So this guy is already in ground and all, so I will just put the engine's flight.
Warning.
And close my door now. Look for it to stabilize everything in the green. Put this back to auto. Should stabilize at 102. There you go, no warnings. It is on. Co-pilot, let's turn on his side. $29.84. It will save with the co-pilot, so because we don't have an actual co-pilot here. And this guy, $29.84. There we go. I will activate the limiter. I will be lifting off into harbor anyway, so there we go. Anti-collision lights. These guys off as leader here. Okay. 12 volts. Get this guy on auto. There we go. So now what I will do, I will take off from the taxiway actually. So there it goes. Just gonna have a taxi to the taxiway. Now you know a helicopter, when you turn it into the wind, it will tend to gain altitude, and when you turn it like here, look at the windsock. That's why when I turn in this direction, so we will bring this baby to a harbor here. And now, like I said, you need to be at least 15. I'm already, there you go, activated. by pressing the button, hover mode. Now when you're in hover mode, you can use the trim button to kind of push it forward to move forward, push it backward to move backward, left, right to change your position when hovering. So here I'm gonna press, let me bring this guy up. As you can see, it's hover mode. I'm gonna press the GA button, and you will see it will capture my current heading here. Okay. Climbing to the destination height of 100 here. Keep going, maybe. It's at 80, 85. Maybe I should increase this so that you can see better. 100 captures the heading. It's gonna fly forward. As you can see, a heading. TU is for transition up, and we chose 300. Remember, 300 here. So when it reaches 300, it will capture the altitude and then airspeed at 70 knots, indicated airspeed. So there we go. We are at 200. I can retract the gear, just make sure it's retracted. 135, 240. Okay. Here it's already indicating that it will capture 70 knots. So as long as TU is displayed here, it's still in the transition up mode. There it is, the airspeed is captured, and when it reaches, there it is, the altitude is captured. So now altitude is captured, airspeed is captured at 70, and heading is captured. So you can now go ahead, and what I will do is I will increase my altitude to 6.5, cruise altitude, and then just activate Alt 8. Okay, and I also activate nav. There we go, and you can switch this back to the map menu page, and you select map, enter, and you can also change the zoom level as already explained. So there we go. This is how you do the auto hover, the transition up, that is the auto takeoff. Now all the helicopter is going to do is to fly towards that waypoint it created to align it with the runway, but otherwise it's just going to be, you know, like here. Maybe if I increase the, as you can see here, maybe here, let's zoom more. There it is, it has created this waypoint, so it's going to be flying to this waypoint and then towards the runway. And it will be aligned with the runway, except that you won't have a glide slope to guide you down towards the runway. That's why it's called a VFR approach. So once we are about to reach this point, we will continue with the video, because otherwise here there's nothing you know, important which is going to happen. So once again, through the magic of editing, I will see you once we are about to make the turn. Now that we are about to reach the turning point here, the waypoint, I'm going to show you something else. Hopefully you will be able to see it. We're going to set this waypoint as overfly. Okay, because now let me reduce my airspeed so that maybe I have time to explain it better once we are closer to the waypoint. Maybe 900. Okay. So when you just create a waypoint, it's going to be linking this line here to the waypoint. Boom, 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 like this. Okay. And if you watched the previous video, you saw that I was doing what we call an overfly. Okay. So this is what we're going to set here. So active. We choose the IP here, we click, and then we select overfly auto, and we select overfly. There you go. Okay, now it's gonna make a better turn. The OF means that we have inserted overfly for this waypoint. So there it is. Once it reaches the waypoint, it's gonna make its turn. Okay, and you can see here it's now flying towards the runway, so that we will be aligned with the runway. But except, of course, we won't have the vertical guidance because it's not ILS, so we will still have to descend on our own. So here the airport is at let's say 4,100. It's 4,095, so we'll say 4,100. We are at 6,500. So to descend, we will need like 2,400, so about 7 nautical miles. So once this distance here is about 7 nautical miles, we will start our descent. So we can already set this to, I like to put it to traffic pattern altitude, which will be 4.6, so around 67 nautical miles. I will start my descent. Now it's at 10. It's just the usual Alt A option to descend. It's always a good idea to match your collective or your thruster with the in-game collective. So here we are already aligned at this point here. We are already aligned with the runway. Eight nautical miles. In around 1 nautical mile I will start my descent. Okay, preparing myself, starting to descend soon, so I put this guy to 90. There you go, starting my descent. 700 feet per minute, I will put it at 5. For the moment, and we can change it later in time. So now at this point it's just keeping an eye for the runway. runway in sight. So here at this point you're more or less aligned with the runway, you have the runway inside, you could go ahead and deactivate the autopilot and take over whatever you want to do. So here this is what the VFR Approach does. So you can create different waypoints, it will fly from waypoint to waypoint to waypoint, and then at your airport you create the VFR Approach and it will create that point as we saw, so that it will align you more or less with the runway. There it is, so that part of the tutorial 2 is covered. So here you can go ahead and land on the runway, but what I will do is I will land on the helipad rather. So here I'm adjusting my collective so that it matches with the in-game collective, and I will take over from here. I will disconnect autopilot once again, remember. Here, not disconnect, the engage ATT mode, because if you press the disconnect, if you disconnect, you will have those two guys light up, you won't have SAS. So it's just switching back to ATT mode by pressing this button here. Of course I have mapped it on my joystick, and there you go. So now I'm hand flying the helicopter. Free green, gears down. Like I said, if you want to land on the runway, you can. It's a wheeled helicopter after all, and then you ground taxi to your parking. Where that plane is, you see where that plane is? It's actually a helipad, but maybe I can edit it later, but it's actually a helipad. Maybe I can edit it in the world editor and put it back as a helipad.
Decision height.
Yep, continuing. I have my parking brakes on. Usually when you land on slopes, vertical landing on slopes, you use the parking brake, but here because I don't have the actual pedals that will replicate the exact operation of the helicopter, this is why I land with the parking brakes on, even on flat helipads like this. It's more practical. So remember, this is a long helicopter, so you want to go a little bit forward on the helipad, so that to make sure the entire length of the helicopter is on the helipad. Maybe like so. And then gently lower the collective, gently, wheels main gear touch, nose wheel still up, lower gently, maintain control gently, still lowering the collective, as you can see, still lowering. Now it's fully down. There you go. Okay, so let's start the shutdown procedure. So I will put the engine to idles, and I will count 2 minutes. Go to 28.
Low.
There you go. So in the meantime, what we saw is how to create a flight plan. We already know how to create a flight plan, how to select the flight plan and create a VFR approach, and how to lift off the into a hover and maintain the hover, auto hover. Okay, and then how to do a transition up. So there it is. In the meantime, you can switch the other things. You can switch off.
Autopilot, autopilot.
And you can silence her. These guys can go off. If you use these guys, you can take them off too, and you actually can take turn off the inverters too, but here we'll just go ahead and shut down the engines. And actually we could have put this to ground too. We will wait for 40 already, so we can activate rotor brake. Not all the way, just enough to apply braking pressure, and there you go. Okay, so here we'll go ahead and this guy is okay. Fuel valves. I leave this guy on. So inverters.
Autopilot, autopilot. Autopilot, autopilot.
There you go. We finished our flight, so there you go. So I hope you find this video helpful. If you do, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in another video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.